Good morning. I'm pleased to welcome you to this event organized by the EU-funded Vision Consortium in close collaboration with the newly established European networks of Centers of Excellence in Artificial Intelligence. These are a key component in the European strategy on AI, and also organized in close collaborations with members of the European Commission. My name is Holger. I'm the coordinator of Vision and professor of machine learning at Leiden University in the Netherlands. Many of you will have closely followed yesterday's major announcements of the European Commission's plans for AI. As you know, there are two components to these plans. First, a proposed legal framework for AI that is supposed to regulate and aims to regulate its trustworthiness and its responsible use within the European Union. And secondly, a revised version of the coordinated plan on artificial intelligence with the member states of the European Union, which aims at establishing a strong and vibrant ecosystem of excellence in AI that can provide AI services and products for the benefits of European citizens and beyond the borders of Europe, of course. Yesterday's announcements and the media reactions that we've seen to them have very much emphasized the proposed legislation. And that is understandable because quite possibly this is the world's first proposed legislation on AI, and therefore highly significant and probably also very consequential, not just for Europe, but for the rest of the world. There has been less emphasis on the coordinated action plan and the ecosystem of excellence. In today's event, we are looking forward to discussing both the ecosystem of trust and the proposed legal framework, as well as the ecosystem of excellence. And we will try to highlight the ecosystem of excellence and its importance for the future of Europe, because, of course, nobody wants to end up in a situation where we are reduced to making or enforcing rules on a game-changing set of technologies, AI, that ends up being dominated by products and services made elsewhere. Today's event will give those of you that are connected a chance to also interact with us. To the right of this window in your browser, you see a Slido window, which you can use to ask questions to our moderators and panelists, and we will try to field as many of these questions as possible. We will also show you polls and ask you for feedback occasionally, and we kindly ask you to participate in that as well. Before we start with our first video and a keynote contribution by Lucilla Scioli in a moment, allow me to share a few thoughts with you. Europe has a very proud history in AI. Unbeknownst to perhaps quite a few of you, AI research started almost as early in Europe as it did in the United States of America. And Europe, in fact, has established leadership not only in AI research, but also in AI technology over the decades that followed. Today, Europe is a leader in many areas of AI, which isn't as prominent as it deserves to be, perhaps because some of the world's biggest companies that very proactively pursue AI in their products and services are currently not based in Europe. But that should not distract from the fact that in Europe, we are very good in AI. I would like to give you two examples for that. The first is DeepL, a company that was founded in Germany actually not that long ago, and that has emerged very quickly to be a world leader in automated translation. And indeed, language technology is one of the areas that has strong interaction with AI, is powered to a large extent by AI technology, that of course plays a very important role, not just for Europe because of the language diversity that we have, but around the world. So Europe has one of the world's leaders, perhaps the world leader in automated translation, homegrown in Europe and still based here. The second example, which I think is very timely, is BioNTech. That again happens to be a German company that developed one of the first vaccines for COVID-19. And indeed, this is one of the vaccines together with Pfizer in the United States that's currently used on a massive scale. What many of you might not realize is that AI technology has been absolutely key to developing this and other vaccines. So It is not the case that in Europe we don't have wonderful success stories in AI. We absolutely do. We sometimes tend to be a little bit too focused on success stories from elsewhere, but we can certainly hold our own. And that actually applies for the entire European AI research and innovation ecosystem. Today, we want to celebrate with you the establishment of the European Networks of Centers of Excellence in AI that formally started in September and have now been operating for quite a few months with great success, but also give you a broader view of the ecosystem of trust, the ecosystem of excellence, and the European Commission's plans for AI in Europe.